Hey y'all.
Good day, good day, good day.
Hey y'all. Hey y'all. Welcome to an unscripted beautiful life. We are the Hendersons.
Yes, we're gonna change our name up every time. Mr. and Mrs. Beautiful, the
Mrs.
Hendersons team, we got this.
Listen. So how was your day?
Ooh, eventful. Eventful. Very eventful. But trusting in that process that we talked about last time. It's making sure that we prepared. And I'm fully prepared. I'm
You fully prepared?
fully prepared for everything that's thrown my way. I'm just gonna let y'all know I'm fully prepared because I'm walking in it.
So tonight's episode, we're talking about learning how to pivot, knowing when to pivot, right? We talked last week about what did we talk about last week? The week before was getting on the other side of beautiful. Oh, trusting the process, right? So this tonight is kind of dealing with that same theme, right? Of being prepared when it's time, or the preparation for when it's time. So
So we always say this: when do we know when it's time?
that's why
We
it's
don't
important
know.
to be prepared.
Yeah, right, right.
Hey Tiff.
So like Trina said, it's important to be prepared. It's an old saying that if you stay ready, you'll never have to get ready.
But now, man, like, how do you know when? How do, like you just said?
How do you know when? So this is the great thing about it. How I feel is that once you're in tune and you're aligning yourself the way you're supposed to be aligned, you don't need to know when your time is
So,
because that time is going to show itself. It will show itself, and you will know. This is my time. You're gonna know. But with my eventful day, uh, it never. This is how I know that this is what I am called to do. With the eventful day that I had, not once did I ever think this ain't for me. Not once did I think, man, I'm ready to go home. Not once did I say, man, it's getting on my nerves. It was one of the things to where it's still allowing me to grow. It's still allowing me to prosper in things because they say everything happens for a reason and timing and everything. 10 years ago, I'd have lost my job today. 10 weeks ago, I'd have lost my job today. Because of where I stand now in my shoes, where we stand as a family. Um, it was a lot of turmoil in our relationship, and it was hard to deal with things at work and then come home and deal with things at home as well. But now that um, things are aligning the way they're supposed to, they're gonna say the devil is attacking. No, no, no. I can't live with that. It's God is still preparing me for my time.
so Tiffany, the question was, um, how do you know when it's time to pivot? How do you know when you're prepared for when it's like when it's, he said you gotta stay ready to be ready. Well, how do you know when you're ready? So I think, baby, as you was talking about it, like that was a good point about how you didn't feel the need to say I'm ready to go home. Like when you truly are walking in your purpose and you're doing the things you love, the things you're called to, n- whatever's coming at you isn't going to make you want to run,
Mm,
because like, I'm in it. This is what I live for. This is what I'm grounded for. This is what God is preparing me for, or has prepared me for.
mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
then you're able to stand in it, so that when things are coming at you, you understand, okay, this is just okay. What's the lesson in this?
That's it. That's where it's at.
Versus, versus, whoa, God, I ain't asked for all this. Right?
What's
Like,
the
hold
lesson
on.
in this?
Yes, he gives us the discernment.
Yeah. And that's where uh it's hard to put it in words because you will know, you will feel the difference. How you wake up in the morning, how you go about carrying yourself on a day-to-day basis, certain things that would have affected you a couple months ago, a couple years ago, it's now like dirt off your shoulders, and it doesn't allow you to get yourself out of your character that you're in. You know, say you can't rain on my parade. Nah, I'm the only one that can do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and don't give that much attention to it. Yeah, but it was it's still one of those learning things. Now, one thing I will say is that I'm not fully completely at my end to where I'm like, oh no, I could stop. I just know that I could continue moving because of where I am. Like I said, 10 months ago, I lost my job today.
I think it's I think when you say that, I think that's understanding that in your assignment in our journey, there's levels to it. So it's like you taking a test, right? And you got to pass one test to get to the next level. You figure out what training and what education is necessary, then you take that test and you pass it. Now it's like, you know how in the government they got different steps, the
Yep,
GS
yep,
level, da da
yep.
da da. It's like that. It's like
Yes.
you move up as you fulfill the purpose in that level, in that assignment. And so
Wow.
like what you just said, that there's growth, because you're right, 10 months ago you would have been out the door,
Or y'all would have felt it here.
or we would have felt it here.
Yeah, y'all would have. You probably would have more so felt it here. My energy level, it was as soon as I kind of walked out the door, I still had it in the back of my mind, my day, but I'm not allowing that to affect everybody else's day. Because we're all human, and you you're gonna have those rough moments. You're gonna have those times where you're thinking, I shouldn't tell you I had this not too long ago. Am I enough? Is what I'm doing enough for my family, for myself, for my friends? And when you like say you don't pour your if you don't have a full glass, don't pour someone else half of your glass. You know, so it's
Sorry.
everything all right.
Yeah.
All right, we good. Yeah, good evening, youngsters. Arthur's with us today. How you
Hey,
doing, Mr.
Arthur.
Wallace?
Yep.
Put that, share that one on there. Show that on there.
Which one? This one?
Yeah, show that on there. Cause it's definitely I love the way we're moving now. Cause I feel like it's an old saying in that movie Drumline. Once what was it? One sound, one band, right? That's how we moving now. At first, I think we was all on different notes and things. Now we still have work and things like that we have to work on because at the end of the day, it's never enough. So you have to continue working on self. You have to continue working on each other. We have to continue working on all these things to continue our growth. Um, if you get to the point where you say, I'm at my wits, I don't want to grow anymore, then you might as well say you're a dead flower. You didn't cut your roots out and you don't want to grow anymore. So we have to always keep that in mind that if we want to continue to grow, we got to keep our roots planted in the ground. And that's staying connected with self, staying connected with God. Um, and everybody's connection is different. That's what we have to stop doing is looking at someone else's connection with God. Look at your connection with him.
Mm-hmm.
And don't knock somebody else because their connection may be a little tighter. You don't know what that person went through on an everyday basis. But just remember, just stay connected with self, stay grounded with God, and he is going to make ways, and he's going to show up in ways to where you're like, nah, this not for me. Yes, it is for you, because you are now moving, and you're in your purpose. You're in your purpose. Find that purpose. Everybody's purpose is different, and that's what I love about this journey is that I'm constantly growing. I'm constantly loving where we're moving. It's I was watching a podcast the other day, and they were talking about, um, should you put yourself above your spouse? I know we might be getting off, but it's kind of hit me. It
I,
kind of hit me, y'all.
I'm going where
And,
you going.
and so I asked this because the young lady was kind of making good points, because she was like, you should never put anybody above yourself. But one thing is when you have that marriage, it's no longer I, it's now we. So if you're saying, oh, I'm putting myself above my husband, then you're still thinking about yourself. You're not thinking about the growth of the marriage, right? You about to say something?
I was going to wait. See, are you finished?
No, go ahead, baby.
Because
I've
when
been
you
rambling.
when you say that, don't you? This might listen. Y'all know how we unscripted, so it does go back and forth. But just to your question, I do think at times you do put your spouse before you, right? I think we tendency, because it's like we definitely want to please the person to make sure the other person is happy, but we also have to be mindful and watchful that we're not putting our spouse above us to the detriment of us individually. Like I can't give you more than I give myself. I can't love you more than I love myself. And so it's a boundary, it's a balance that you have to do, in that you're making sure, okay, it is us individually, we're still two different people, but I got to make sure that I'm giving you just as much as I'm giving myself, so that I don't lose myself in the process. Because then if I'm losing myself in the process, then the resentment comes in. Then he no good, I'm always doing, all of those things, and here come talking to decide the next type of thing, like all of that stuff comes into place. So I think it's just it's a balancing act that I think we have to do.
And the this going on something else, y'all, but it's still kind of tied back to it. I was talking to a coworker before I left, and he said, "Man, your conversations today should be about what side of the brain do you use?" And what you just said was resentment, right? And then start talking out the side of the neck and things like that. So I haven't done enough research on the brain to know what's left and what's right and things like that. So that's why I didn't really want to touch on that topic,
Well, why you
because
just mention
no,
that?
because of what you because this is why I'm putting the connections together, because what you just said connected back to what I was talking to the gentleman about, and you saying it's talking out the side of your neck. So that's you using one side of the brain. But that's how, what's so weird about is that I make these connections now on different conversations, and that's God speaking through people that you have conversations with. Because how you didn't know that we were talking about that, but then you just spoke on talking out the side of your neck. That's just where I'm at with it now. So I don't everything I try to find, and when I look at it, I say, yeah, God definitely told us to talk about this. Talking about, because he almost said that same thing. He was talking about, this was his exact words. How do you take it if your wife comes to you and tells you to go take that trash out? How are you gonna take it? Will you take it as resentment? You gonna start talking out the side of your neck? You know what? You don't go take the trash out. So
We back to the gender roles.
no. It was just those was one of the things that he mentioned as I was just talking to him about what we do. And but that's why I say that's that full circle when it come back around to where those little things, now I make that connection back to God. That it's not a coincidence that we talked about this before I walked out the room,
I
and
think
then
get used to it.
yeah,
He always all over the place.
yeah,
But somehow, whenever he brings it, loops it back, and you realize, oh, that's why he was saying that.
yeah.
Just sit back and just laugh and enjoy. No,
It's a roller coaster ride that you ride in the dark, and you don't know when them loops and them twists is coming. But when you finish, you like, dang, I love that roller coaster. That's a good roller coaster, y'all. I ain't see nothing, but it was a great roller coaster. But yeah, but it's just making those connections. It circles all the way back. Now, I don't take anything for granted anymore. My conversations that I have with people, God put people in your life, and He puts conversations in your life for a reason.
I think that's the key, right? Is being able to see him in everything,
Everything.
regardless of y'all. I don't know how to silence the notifications on my computer, so that's what the little dings y'all keep hearing. I'm sorry, but just being able to see him in every situation, the good, the bad, and the ugly, because when you know, like even in the trenches, right, of how everything is, he's still there in the midst of it.
He gonna be there.
Even when you feel like it's nobody around, like, God, I'm in this by myself, and he be like, no, you ain't. Like, I'm right here walking with you, or I'm right here carrying you. And so that's how we got to look at it. It's like, no matter, even during the loneliest moments, we're never
By
by
yourself.
ourselves.
Never. Never. And I'm probably gonna say it. This circle back to what I said when it comes back to all of that talking to people and being intentional with listening, because there's a positive in every situation. So the even if you like you having a conversation with somebody, you're like, where's this conversation going? And then
You
you
mean
go
our
back home.
daily lives?
Yeah. Then you sitting by yourself, right? And you sit by yourself and you in your own space, and then something happens. God does something. You be like, dang, that's what he was talking about. Those things are now what I focus on, is the conversations that I have with somebody. And then I sit when I'm sitting by myself and I'm just listening. And it could be just scrolling through YouTube and I'm looking at motivational speakers and one to hit me. And I'm like, why did this one hit me? It's because of conversation that I had with somebody previously and through that day or that week. And now it's like, oh,
It's a God wink. It's a God look. I'm just funny because Rick on here, and he talking about he got his own 6 day. Listen, Rick, we understand it. I understand it. Like when I say we got the same person, like you and I the same tip, and him is the same. Like you already know, you
yeah.
know firsthand. Like y'all need to get on this thing so we could talk about this story.
And then and see, when I left, he asked me, he was like, do y'all ever have anybody else come on? I said, yes. When Trina did her conference, we had the guest speakers came on and spoke. And I'm like, but we're trying to get it to where we get couples to come on and share their testimony as well. So that's our next thing. We're going to probably, what we're going to do,
We
babe?
gonna talk to Tiff and Rick. Listen, we're gonna reach out, sketch, because I know Cam got his thing on Tuesdays, but um,
We
we'll
can
figure
fix
it
a
out.
day. We ain't sharing
We
stone.
ain't gotta do a Tuesday night. Like we could do a beautiful life, unscripted beautiful life
And then
Thursday edition or something
right.
like that. Or
Or
Friday
we
or Saturday
record
night
it
live or
and
whatever.
or we record and allow them to come in. But look, we're gonna make it work.
All right, let's get back on topic.
That's all of it is a topic. All of it.
This
Because
why I'm on listen. I got season passes, y'all.
it's all of it is a topic. It's all meant to circle back some type of way. Um but pivoting. As Trina said this, some people looking when you say pivot, right? Are you in a dead end job? Do you like what you do? If you like what you do,
Tiffany said we ain't dang. The people ain't ready.
no.
No.
And so we're gonna circle back to the pivot, right? And Trina was talking about the pivot because of the day that I had. Not once, like I already said it, not once did I feel as though, all right, this is my last day. I can't handle this. Um, I wish I could go into details with it, but I won't. But it never at no point, even after the whole situation is done, and I'm doing all the paperwork that I have to do to send it up, not once, because I'm everybody that know me, I hate paperwork. I'd rather be hands on. I'd rather be in the thick of it. But having to do the paperwork and everything, not once did I say I don't want to do this no more. So in that, I have to pivot a little different because my pivot is not going to be, oh, I'm about to change my career. That's not my pivot. My pivot may be how I went about talking to a parent or how I went about talking to a child. My pivot is a little different. Um, Everybody's pivot is different. So only way you know how to pivot is that you have to get in tune with self. Is this what I want to do? I don't care. I don't care how old you are, y'all. That age don't matter. You can always change your career if it's detrimental to your health, if it's detrimental to your well being, if it's any of these things that's not helping you move forward and get closer and better yourself with God and things like that. Get out of it. So I hate to keep bringing it up, but when Trina lost hers, man, I said thank God because I knew that she was not going to pivot, but God pivot for her. So knowing when to pivot, knowing how to pivot, that's you have to learn these things, and I love it. I love our pivot. I love our pivot, babe, because again, you weren't happy. Can you say that?
So I'm trying to hold my tears because
Let
I
them
feel
things fall.
no, because
I'll
I
lick it.
feel so the I've been asking God, like, what am I doing? What am I supposed to be doing? Am I going back to public accounting? What direction am I going in now? Like it's time. I gotta do something right. And all I kept thinking about, I'm at the point where is this the moment where now I get to choose the path that I should have been on from the very beginning? Right. Like when you graduate, like growing up, you go to high school, you choose a major. Like in high school, you get the little curriculum of what you want to be, right? So it was business and math. That was so that led me into accounting, and then you graduate that, and then you go to college, and it just kind of went on from there. But now having the understanding of who I am, what I'm truly passionate about, walking in the assignment, I'm like the numbers ain't it no more. Like if I go into the numbers, I'm going into the numbers out of the need for survival, to making sure that the bills are paid, to making sure that, the needs here are being met. But even going through the challenge that we're going through, the journaling challenge with dealing with managing money in God's way, I'm seeing money in a completely different way now. Like it's no more as we need to check because of da, 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 da. Like
Right.
now it's when I think about the check, the need, I got to think about, well, how am I going to use the money for God's assignment? And so now it's been like little things have been popping up about going back to school, and I'm getting things about the need for teachers. Like what God, what are you like what are you showing me? So I'm sitting because it's just like, yes, it's time to pivot, and I'm learning to pivot, but in which direction? And I'm pivoting and like really walking in the hello, my name is beautiful. Like it for me, it's about, and it's always been about people, right? Of
Mm-hmm.
making and supporting people. Well, in accounting, I can only do but so much of that because I get more joy of helping a client figure something out, right? Like the budgeting side of things. It's the connection.
Mm-hmm.
Even as an introvert, like it was still about
Making that
making
connection.
a connection and seeing things, working it out together versus when you in accounting and you're in the management side of things, now what becomes about bringing in the revenue and the profit and new business, and all, it became more about the money, and it was like the customer aspect, the
Oh,
connection fell off. And so now, like, I truly get a chance to really figure out God, and what season of transition is this for me, right? Like I said, I can account it. I'm a CPA. Like, it's easy enough to get a job, but
uh-huh.
do I want the job just for the sake of the money, or do I want the job that is going to give me the hope, the passion, the
The
love,
real
the
fulfillment.
real
Yeah.
fulfillment? And that's what I want now.
Because when I chose my job, I've always chose my job on my passion, on what I want to do, and not ever chasing a dollar. I watch my older brother and my younger brother chase the dollar. I can't say that they happy on what they doing. I can't honestly say that because I'm not in their shoes. But I definitely noticed that they are chasing that dollar. And that's what society wants us to do, is to chase the dollar and get away from our creativity that we have. Um, because it's I could go deep with this because of some of the research that I've done. It's all been designed and planned to keep our imaginations away from us so that we can go out here and create our own. It's creating your own. They always want us to work for somebody. I met an older gentleman and I told him, I said, I never heard of generational wealth until I became an adult. That's crazy. I was
Damn,
an adult
yeah, that's one of those things that doesn't get talked about.
at all.
And it's like, but it's a very valid like, it's a
It,
conversation
that
that's
needs to
truly
be had.
needed.
It has to be had. Because again, we're just following a cycle of 9 to 5ers. That's all we're doing, and not creating any wealth for self and any wealth for ours that's coming behind us. Um, and every day I'm trying. How do we create that generational wealth every day? Anybody on here that got any tips and tricks?
But I think it's, when you think about the generational wealth side of things, it's more than just money.
Ah,
It's more because it's mindset, right? Like,
yes.
you can't, I can tell, we can show the kids this is how you balance the checkbook. We can talk to them about computer debt, not computer debt, but credit card debt and
Yeah.
all the other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But if their mindset isn't prepared and like truly focused on the need for money, the need for credit, the need for, this and that, then they don't, they never make the connection. Then all of a sudden they talking about, well, I got to file bankruptcy because I done jacked my credit up. Right. Like, Arthur, on he teaches the financial side of money and things, but that's where it's like, generational wealth isn't just money. Like, it's everything. It's a lot more than what I think people think it is, because it's
Yeah.
not. It's money is provision, right?
Mm-hmm.
Being able, it's relationships, that's generational wealth, right? Being able to stay connected, it's being able to have resources. Well, I ain't got it, but listen,
Right.
I know
I could pull.
somebody that
Yeah.
does. Like,
Yeah.
when you use your gift of gab, like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, Andre got a person for that, let me connect you. And it's, that's the generational wealth
Yeah.
that we're talking, right? For me, generational wealth is also breaking generational
Curses.
curses.
Yes.
Because if I
Yes.
can't have, we
Mm.
can't have the curses coming down from our family the grandmas and the uncles and all of that, and continue on. Like, I saw, it was a post where um it was three glasses filled, like, one of them was really dark water,
Mm-hmm.
the next, and that represented the grandmother, and they were pouring it into the next person's cup, which was the mom's. And like, how you can see, well, that cup turned the mom's cup dark. And then if you don't teach the self-love, then when you get to your kids, you don't, it's a repeating
You just
pattern.
put more and
And
more
so,
and
like, you
more.
got, in order to be able to heal and break the generational curses, right? Learning to pivot, because do you want to stay in the repeated cycle of anger and,
Yes.
like within our household and things like that? somebody has to make the decision like it stops right now. It stops with me. Like it's not going further.
Yeah, you're right. Because again, we dealing with that with all of ours, not just one. It's it's all of them. But let's go back to the pivot real quick, babe,
Okay.
because anybody that knows basketball, right? Because you said when the pivot, right, and things like that. The great thing about a pivot is that as long as you keep one foot planted, you can go in a whole 360 circle. You can go in a whole 360 circle. You're keeping that one foot planted. But if you lift that pivot, which that's coming off of God's plan, then
That's good,
now you
babe.
travel. Now you didn't travel and you
Yeah,
turned the ball over to the other team.
that's good.
So keep that pivot foot,
Staying connected to him.
keep that pivot
Yep.
foot, and you can pivot forward. You can pivot backwards. Sometimes you might have to do two pivot back to go six pivots forward. You know, so that's why I had to go back on that because a lot of people don't understand when we say pivot.
Well, and that's good too because I think like sometimes we're trying to move forward, so we might have a foot planted and we're trying to pivot forward, but there's that obstacle there, and we forget that we could
We could
go
go back,
left
left
or
or right,
right
right,
or back
right.
again and still get around to where
Still
we
get
need to
around.
go. As
Yep.
long as one foot is always down and always grounded in God and who He's created you to be,
You can have that pivot.
then you don't get called
You ain't
for the
travel,
travel,
and you ain't
right?
turning the
So
ball
that's
over.
good,
You ain't
babe.
turning the ball over
That's good.
because you want to keep the ball in your court. Keep that ball in your court, and the way you do that is by not breaking rules.
Yeah.
And like you said, God gives us the tools. We got the tools. We just gotta use them. We just gotta use them, man. Who in there? Who in here knows all of the utilities that Batman had on his utility belt? Endless. We got endless. We got endless, and we just have to learn to get in tune with our utility belt to use our tools properly and know when to pull out each tool when that tool is necessary. Because a lot of times we don't need the grappling hook for every situation. Sometimes we might just have to scale the wall by ourselves, and we don't need a tool in that situation. So yeah, I didn't think it was gonna take us this way, y'all. But
We got
we went back to that pivot, and that's what's awesome about this unbreakable, this unscripted. You don't know. As my man Martin says, right? I don't know what I'm saying till I'm done talking. And that's God speaking through me. This is my honest opinion because again, what was it? 7:55, babe? We said what's our conversation?
but it was it's funny how your comment, like I saw the one post in the app that I was in today that was talking about you, and I didn't, and then it was like as you were telling me, and I was like, oh, that's what that post was for. That's what that comment was for.
You want
So
to read it to him? Nah, we can keep it. That's
so
we,
no, he's if y'all not on the pattern app, y'all need to get on the pattern app. It's really
man,
good.
man. Oh my goodness, uh, it's a great app. And when Trina mentioned to me, I had it. And the funny thing about my phone is she been trying to get me on this app. That's not gonna happen. I'm not going to team anything. I have an iPod and I love it. We're gonna stick with
Why
that.
you bringing up iPhones, man? Like, come on.
Because I brought it up because I had the pattern on my phone. I didn't change my phone. I didn't delete it. It was gone. It's gone. And you can go back and research your. It's like I never even downloaded, but I know I had it on my phone because when I downloaded the app again, I went to go sign in, and it remembered my password.
Oh,
So I was like, I know I had this, but it's again filling our phones up with so many apps that we forget about the ones that came with the phone. Now, I'm gonna say this again, because the apps come on the phone. All right. We fill ourselves up with so many different apps that we forget about the apps that we came with. And that's the tools that God prepared us with from when we were born. You see how we can circle everything back to God, y'all.
Tiffany talking about iPad. He
Yeah,
talking about
that's yeah.
iPod, Tiff. iPod, not the iPad.
She like, cuz she like, boy, you don't got no iPod. You real? You saying your age, man? I had this jump out when I was in college. Not lying to you. I probably had this when I was in college, but it's. What was I saying? I'm sorry. I didn't went back.
Oh no.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry, and I'm just a little bit hungry too, but it's okay.
Well, we ain't gonna keep you
Trina
on here
Trina
long.
said she asked me if I wanted to skip today. No, I don't want to skip any days anymore. Because I feel like skipping a day, it's like when you work out. If you skip one day, that next day to get back into work, it's harder. So I don't want to skip no days. Now if we sick or something, that's one thing, but um, skipping a day now, it's like skipping leg day and just doing all upper body. And guess what? You're gonna end up like a upside down triangle. You ain't gonna have no legs. It's gonna be all upper body and not knowing how.
Nah, but doing the upper body and you got that helps with the little, so you ain't got to work out as hard. Listen,
So what you saying? You want me to be a upside down triangle? I'm
no,
already that.
no, no,
I got
no.
a big upper body and little legs, so that's already me.
Get back on focus. Get back on
That's
focus.
already me.
Listen, Arthur, what's for dinner?
No bull, boy. You right around the corner. You are right around the corner, Arthur. What is for dinner? But see, this is what's the beauty in this unscripted, y'all. Is being on here with family, um, that we laugh and joke and play with, and just listening to y'all when y'all like for real, y'all gotta understand. Y'all help us tick by reading y'all comments, and then we just tick off each other. We couldn't have did this a couple years ago, babe. We'll be in here in silence.
A couple years ago. I
Maybe
thought
last year.
months. Like, nah, no, we been back. I went back. It's been a year. Well, it's not since you joined, but it's been a year since I
You
started
started.
going live on Tuesdays. It's been a year.
And
Last week was a
it's
year. I just realized
7
that.
months for us because we started in December.
Oh, he said he moved.
Dang.
Oh, we need to connect.
Hold on,
Arthur.
move where? I hope you still in PG, brother.
He probably got out.
Man,
He
I'm
probably
pretty
got out.
sure. I'm pretty sure. I ain't mad at you, boss. You just gave us somewhere else to visit. But yeah, so the connections and the things that we make, I can only thank my wife here for opening me up to all these things. Cause
It ain't me. That's God.
it is, it is.
I
But
can, I
God
can.
put us in the same situations too, because we could never even met.
Oh my gosh!
So,
Listen,
so yeah. So I
he
give
said he
her.
got the don't left. I know that's right.
Man, you gotta do what you gotta do, big brother. But
Thanks, Tiffany.
yes, um, anybody that do want to ever jump on with us, please let us know. We definitely would love for others to join us
Tiff said,
in.
Arthur, hold on. Our friend said, are you near them? Because they hungry too.
Hey, that's Tiff. That's
Thanks, Rick.
yeah.
No, but oh, what was I getting ready to say? What did you just say?
um, I don't know.
Oh,
I
I
was
lost
saying
my
it,
train of
then I
thought.
then I got it, and then the dog laid his head on me, so
He
start
like
petting
he
him.
need you to stop talking. He ready to go outside.
Man, no, we still got time. I got you, brother.
Dang, I lost my train of thought.
If y'all could just see this
Oh,
dude.
when you said about guests, so yeah, so we gonna definitely reach out and schedule guests. But if there's also a topic
Yes, shoot us
that you
those.
want us to cover, because listen, y'all already know we ain't the experts. We can only tell you from our perspective and share our story. But we understand that, hey, there are some topics that I think we've touched that was kind of like, oh, whatever, and we're open to it. So as long as God is giving us the conversation, right? There's nothing that's off topic. So
No, we good, Mr. Officer. You can send the address though. We're gonna definitely pull up on you, man. Say hello to you
see,
because
this
it's
is
been a
why you
while.
need a doormat that says that you call first,
Oh no,
because
I don't show up. I don't show up to nobody's house without a phone call because I left my brother standing on the doorstep because they ain't make that phone call first. You don't know what I had going on in my house.
oh my goodness,
They don't know.
really,
We could have been chopping turkeys. You don't know.
really
Yeah,
bad.
you don't know. So before y'all go to anybody's house, make that phone call. Send that text message. If they don't answer, that's not your cue to just show up anyway. All right. Oh, don't put that on here. You're gonna have everybody at your house, bro.
Hold on, let me see how to. Oh no.
Cause the friends that we got on here, Miss Offer, they're gonna be your friend too. They gonna show up, man.
Hold on, how to hide it. I
Well,
have
it's too
to
late
figure
now.
out.
Somebody already screenshotted it.
Don't be showing up. Y'all ain't know what he got his
Man,
arms.
I'll
No.
tell you what he got. Leave him alone.
Look, we are way off topic.
Nah,
Way off
we
topic.
always on topic. Everything
Nuh-uh,
is our
Tiff, we ain't
topic,
give
y'all.
nothing that says late night with Mr. and Mrs.
Yeah. Everything is always our topic, y'all, because it's unscripted. That's what's the beauty in this, y'all. This is definitely a family lane. Miss Lance, yes.
Tiff,
See? See?
Tiff said I got the
I
address
got the
now.
address there. Try to block that joint. Get it? Delete it.
I figure out how to hide it. Hold on.
Yeah. But no. Everybody that's on here is awesome people. You don't have that to worry about. They wouldn't even be in our circles because we don't let squares in our circle. So they don't fit.
You need that on the
They
t-shirt
don't
for
fit.
real.
They don't fit, y'all. I can't put that on the circles on the t-shirt. Somebody already probably did said it and used it. I'm messing around, get copyright infringement and all that. They might hit me on here, but I'm gonna keep saying it because it's my language now. But yeah, see, there you go. We're not on topic. This is love examples is everything. This is what we do, y'all. It's just to try to help out anyone that may be thinking that they in this alone. You're not ever alone. You're not ever alone. And we're not just here on Tuesdays. Trina got an email address that you could send any talks to. I don't have one. I don't have one. I don't have one. I should probably get one.
What?
Email address. Because if you send it to my personal one, it's over 35,000
If y'all need him, you gotta
emails.
send it to my email because
Yeah.
he don't check
I'm
email.
checking the email. Trying to say, hey, you get that calendar invite? Which one you send it to? No, I ain't get that.
You ain't got but one.
And then I go look. I was like, oh, I did get it. I
Oh
just
my
didn't put it on
gosh,
my
you are the
calendar. I
worst.
did put it on my calendar. But yeah, no, y'all, I love it. I appreciate y'all, man, coming on here with us every Tuesday. Because again, somebody else said this. Y'all could be anywhere in the world, but y'all chose to be here with us. And I appreciate that. This is it's been great for us. It's also been great for the kids. It's helping out the kids. It's helping us with the kids. So we probably need to have more conversations on behavior of the kids. Anybody still spank their kids? I asked that question because I just was talking to my director today, and he wasn't on board when I say a lot of times what's missing in these little youngsters is a little old spanking, just a little old spanking.
Sir,
It's called a correction. That's what it is, a correction.
it's
But we could talk about this because this is a free open space for us. There's a big difference in discipline and abuse. There's a big difference. And once you realize that, then you know, all right, I'm not abusing my child. I'd rather spank them than let the world spank them.
okay. Back to pivots.
That's a
We not
pivot.
talk about this right
Yeah,
now.
that's a pivot too. Bop, bop. Just make sure you don't lift that foot up, and you will good. You good. You can pivot with your spankings.
Oh
Just
goodness.
don't lift that foot up.
Listen, I think it's time to go.
See,
Oh,
that's great.
see.
That's great. The look don't work for everybody.
But Frida, did we really come out fine though?
I think so.
Did we?
I think so. Because all right. No, we're not gonna go there today because it's
That's
almost
why I
time.
said this
It's
is
we only got 10 more minutes. Well, listen, y'all done got me in here now. We can stay in here all night.
sir. You can be by yourself.
I understand. I understand because you don't like this. You don't like this piece of it. You don't like this piece of it, which is not. It's not a problem. But I would say this: spanking is not something that every child needs. Every child don't need that. God said it's spare the rod, spare the child, right? Right?
Yeah.
All right.
But you gotta take it with context. That's you can't just take that scripture and did it like it's context behind it.
But at the same time, that's why I said there's a big difference in sparing the rod and then abusing and what you're calling your kid. You know, it's a big difference. Now, I don't I could count on my hand on how many times Nick got popped. Just one hand. Just one hand. Now, I need Trina's hands, my hands, and some more hands for how many times that I did. But when you go back and look at it, I always go back and I look at it like some of them were definitely one of the things that, bro, talking to you wasn't it.
Hold on, what's the statute of limitations? Because this
Nah,
why we can't talk about this.
yeah, but yeah, nah. But no, I don't want nobody to feel no type of way if they still out here spanking their kids. Don't abuse them.
It's no judgment.
No,
That's
none at all.
y'all. That's
That's
your
your business.
household. That's your
That's
house.
your
That's why
household.
I say this is a topic. I don't know.
I mean, we family in here. Ain't
I
nobody.
get it.
I ain't calling CPS on nobody. Now I ain't gonna call CPS on me because I'm like, man, that man doing his job. So let's go to that real quick.
Uh-oh.
Let's go to that real quick.
Go where?
Nah,
Mute
I'm not
your
gonna go there.
mic.
I'm not gonna go
Go.
there. I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna go there. We can go there, but I ain't gonna go there. I ain't gonna go there. I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna leave it alone.
Since
Because I
some
heard,
of us still need us. Yeah, it
yeah,
is a
just
touchy subject. Oh, that's Rick saying that.
yeah, it's very touchy. It's a very touchy subject because some people may have felt as though they were abused coming up getting spankings, so they don't spank their kids. This is a judgment free zone.
I don't think it's that. I just think that there are so many different ways that discipline can be applied that it doesn't have to be physical. Like you some kids you can just talk to and they're gonna get it together, right? And then some that need a little bit more.
They need a touch.
I need a touch. Not
Yeah, see, just a
that's not
touch.
what I was gonna
Just
say.
a touch.
Just need a little more encouragement, right? So that's the thing is, it's finding the level that works for the auntie, that works for everybody and for you and your household. Like it,
You gotta do what works for you and your house.
yes, but you also gotta understand, like, how do like when is it okay? Like, is it ever okay? Like that's why it's a touchy subject because it's like, is it ever okay? Because I mean, we've been in some situations with the little one upstairs that's been like, boy, you about to catch it,
Okay,
and you
so
gotta
I'm gonna ask you this. I'm gonna ask you
okay.
because you said when is it ever okay? To me,
I'm just that's the question you most that you act like.
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
So I was just gonna give a scenario because this is one of my scenarios. Okay, I got an older brother. This was before my
y'all,
younger brother.
this is the pivot of we
Yeah,
on a whole nother
yeah.
topic right now.
So we in the closet playing with matches, and you know matches smell. Parents come in. Is that a time for a spanking, or is that a time for a talking to? Now, if you already had this conversation with your kids, hey, I'm gonna need you not to play with lighters, matches, and fire, and they continue to do it, it's time for a touching because obviously the talking to didn't get to you. Now it's time for me to touch you one good time, so you understand. Listen, I always say this: there is The actions that you put out there is the consequences that you will get back. That's what I say.
I
It's
don't know.
touchy. It's very touchy. So, oh, I got touched. We got touched that day, and in just my opinion, it was warranted because we were already talked to about this. All right, y'all didn't get
But see,
it. Y'all
okay, you
didn't
talk
get it.
about your scenario, right? About how you got touched. And I think and I we had a situation where I got a burn mark in my counter upstairs because Nicholas decided he wanted to
He
play with
wanted
the
to play with fire.
torch.
He
He
wanted to
didn't
play with
get
fire.
popped in. He got talked to, and he got talked to in a way so he understood why it was harmful. It was
But
unsafe.
that was the first time, right? And we had that conversation. If he had done it again, he hasn't done it since we
Okay, so
talked
I
to
see
him.
what you're saying. So in
Yeah,
your situation, you have been
we
talked to
already
more
been
than once.
talked to.
But that's what
Yeah,
I'm saying is I
yeah,
think you just have to you got to figure out what works best for your kid. Like,
yeah.
listen, I'm not
We got,
no, I'm a share.
we got to.
So Nicholas, right, is in terms of personalities, if y'all are into horoscopes and all that other stuff, he's the Taurus, right? Hard headed, stubborn, in his ways, Mr. Independent,
He got all of me
like
and Trina in him.
both. Lord,
For
this
y'all
the
that
one
know
will be like,
us,
listen, we need some anointing oil. We need the back, like all of those things, right? Because this one is giving us a run for our money.
I'm sorry, babe, because my mama told me this. What comes around, Andre goes around. So I'm sorry, babe, that you had to
So
get this.
we had a day. Andre was at work, and it was just me and the kids. And I don't remember what Nicholas said or what he did, but it called for. I don't know if it called for. At this moment, it was time for him to catch a spanking because I had it.
You
Like,
spanked my son?
listen.
Hey,
I
listen,
can't stand
this
you.
new, y'all,
I
this new.
can't
That's why I
stand you.
said it. That's why I said it.
So
This
that
new.
might not have been the best choice, but in the moment, I was in it. This was what was going down, y'all. I gave him his spanking, and this little joker told me, "Mommy, this ain't doing nothing but making me stronger." Y'all, I just bust out laughing
It's
because I was just like, "Are you kidding me right now?" Like,
that's how he. This, this is why I just say he has all of me and Trina in him because I had that conversation with my parents as I got older and we were allowed to talk. And I would say one thing that we are definitely doing different is that we allow the kids to have a voice, respectful voice.
and so when it happened, like I had to, I really did laugh because it was like, oh, like
For real,
this
bro.
ain't phase them at
For
all.
real.
Like I just had to, I laughed and walked out because I realized in that moment that that spanking ain't doing nothing for him. It's not. He's a whole nother breed. Like
This
it's not. It's
the
a whole nother.
spankers they didn't work for me neither.
It's a whole nother breed. So that's
So
what I'm saying. It's
yeah,
like
it don't
when
always
it
work for
comes to discipline,
everybody.
it doesn't always work for everybody. And it's just like because I had that moment and because that was the reaction, like, okay.
And
And I don't even remember what he did, but it
and
it calls for something. And when he said that to me, like now I'm then I laugh, but then when I get to the boot camp, I was like, I'm so frustrated because I was like, I can't believe one, he allowed me to take, like he took me there. Like
mhm,
I allowed myself to get to that point.
right.
But it was at that moment and I realized like what is going to help my son? Like so that
He needs that talking to and
yeah,
reassurance.
but when you're in it and that's his response and that's his reaction. It was like when if you had given me a parenting test, I completely got a F that day because it was like, oh, okay, like really, that ain't do nothing but make you stronger.
Yeah.
Like j- just his response and just like when we talk about we allow them to have a voice and things that's like it was just like, oh, if I hadn't taught you that you got a voice, Like, would you have really said? But I, like, but
Yeah.
also it was what I needed to hear in that moment to
Mm-hmm.
really check me and be like, okay, we got to figure out a better way. Like, there's another way
Yeah.
for me to reach my son. There's another way for me to say,
This
this
what
is
we need.
this is what he needs,
Yeah.
and like really get down to his level. And like, now when he has those moments of being triggered by something, right, because he can't get his way or he can't communicate what he needs to say, hold his hands, like the physical, the things that will calm him down and get him to understand, listen, it's okay to express your
Yeah.
emotions, but not to the point of you are ready to destroy stuff or
Yeah.
destroy somebody else, or just really, those different type of things. But you got to figure out what works for you. So that was me learning how to pivot.
Yeah.
That was me learning how to pivot.
And like I said, we could
Matia
count,
says you kept her and Tia's growing up. Matia.
and we close. We lived in the same house for a while.
See,
so
Tiffany said she was a little spicy and the tap stand faced her. They
so
didn't work for her either. See, that
and
you got to figure that
right.
each child is
And see,
different,
that's why. And you said this was. It's not a touchy conversation. This is a
but it
conversation was
can
needed.
be. Yeah, it
It's
can be.
needed
It can be.
because again, we're learning from each other. So if we don't have these conversations, then no one is. They're not. They like, oh, so now they tiptoeing on things like, nah, I don't spank my kid. Nah, sometimes it may be necessary. Sometimes it's not, and that's learning your child. Once you learn your child, you like, Nick gave it to us. Nick gave it to Trina. This not working, mommy. All right, so now we got to figure out what does work. Taking things from him is what he understands.
Yeah.
He gonna eat them damn body shots. He gonna eat them spankings to the legs because I can still have what I want, And that's why I say he is so much like myself because as I got became an adult and I could sit down and have that conversation with my parents, I told them, I said, y'all spanking me as a kid, right? It just showed me that I can be any kid my age because I took a whooping from an adult.
Wow.
And so when they said that, this is no knock to my parents because they helped me become who the young man that I am today. I'm still young. But it was one of the things that if we had a voice then, would I been able to say, hey, y'all know these spankings ain't working. I think y'all should take stuff from me. Because I used to. I'm going to tell y'all, I would take my 15 minutes of that pain, and not 15 minutes of a spanking, but the pain only lasts about 15 minutes. And then guess what? It's gone. And I could
But
go outside. I could talk on the phone. I could do the things that I could still do.
just think about how times have changed, right? Because if you or I had said that to our parents,
That's what I'm saying.
man, we would have
That
had
would have
our
been another
teeth
spanking.
knocked out our mouth.
Another
Like, there
spanking.
would have been a whole, like, somebody would have seriously had to call CPS because there, but that's where times have changed. That's when you learn, like, okay, when you, as adults, you figure out how to do things a little bit differently from your parents,
Yep.
right? And
Yep.
that's where the growth and the pivots come. But that just goes to show, like, if I had said to my dad, that's okay. It's just gonna make me
Stronger,
stronger.
man. I
Listen,
know, I know,
y'all.
I know Joe Nathan.
Not Joe Nathan.
I know this what people gotta understand when they see Joe. It's not just Joe. That's Joe Nathan, man.
Oh
It's
my gosh.
different.
Oh
It's
God.
a little different. And it ain't. I love that man. We've had our deep, deep conversations, and the love that he got for me, and the love that I pull back into that. Man, that man. Everybody can't say they got a good relationship with their in-laws, man. I got a great relationship with my in-laws. I love them. I love them. They there for us when we need them. I'm there for them when they need me. Um, it's building that circle, keeping our circles tight. Yeah, yeah. So again, some of these conversations that we have, yeah, they could be touchy, but they're needed. They're needed because Again, somebody on here might be like, man, I spank my kids, and I don't care what nobody else say or think about it. And then somebody on here might be thinking like, but I don't touch my kids at all. I could talk to them and we could get things across. So you got to know how to balance your situations with your children. Because like you said, if Nick don't ever say that to Trina, Trina she might be still giving my man Poppins, you know, and he just taking it in like, but I'm still gonna go get on my tablet when I'm done, you know. So it's learning what how we can get across to our kid. And I was just talking to him about communication. She says always key. Effective communication. I taught a class on this effective communication, and the other day Nick got into it a little bit, and it wasn't even like a bad thing. He was upset about something, and I went into the room to talk to him, and he didn't want to talk. But Trina went in there and she talked to Trina. So the next morning, of course, I don't go in there, I don't scold him or anything. But the next morning, I said, Nick, I want to talk to you about our situation yesterday. And he was like, you know, so I said, why you couldn't talk to daddy? And he still didn't really want to talk and open up. I say, look, man, whether you were scared, no matter what it is, it's a human trait, dude. It's human, man. And you're not in anything alone. And we just have to effectively communicate with our children, giving them that positive, knowing when to kind of kick them off that pedestal and then put them back on there. Wow, I need you to sit up on this pedestal with your back straight.
I think a lot of times kids, right, they don't want to disappoint.
Now,
And so because they don't want to disappoint, when something does happen, then it hits them hard because it's like, uh-oh, mommy and daddy about to be mad. But that's when you have to communicate and be like, I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at the act, right? Like what you did was wrong, and here's why.
yes, yes,
Versus I'm being mad. Like nothing you can do could ever stop me from loving you. Nothing you
man,
could do could ever stop me from supporting you, being there from you, and think I may dislike the choices you
right,
make,
but not you as
but
that
because of
person.
the choice you make, that still doesn't mean mommy love ain't going nowhere.
Nowhere.
Like I may say, okay, let's, how can we talk about this situation a little bit differently? Like how would you have handled it if you chose this route? Versus, okay, like just because you do something wrong, because we all make
We're
mistakes.
gonna make mistakes.
But that's when it's like when you think about God, grace, and mercy, like how many times we got it wrong?
Mm-hmm.
And he still comes in and shows us and still is
Shows
blessing us
up.
and still says, you know what, because of your heart, because you tried, I'm going to do this, or
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to still. That's how it is with our children. Like the same lessons that we get from the God are the same. Like y'all don't understand how many lessons I've received from the interactions with my kid.
Mm-hmm.
When
Mm-hmm.
how you telling your kids and right, and you say, well, how many times I gotta tell you that? God be saying the same thing. How
Yeah,
many
right.
times I gotta
How
tell
many
you
times I
that?
tell you that?
Like how many times have I been rebuked
Mm-hmm.
because of I had a conversation with my kid and God was like, don't you remember when you did that?
He gonna put
Like
it back
he
on.
gonna bring it back.
He gonna
But
bring
that's
it back.
where the growth comes in. That's where it's learning that it's a learning moment for everyone, for every child. Each kid is
Especially.
gonna be different.
Mm-hmm.
And it's learning that
Yep.
and saying, okay, I talked to Nicholas this way. That ain't gonna work for Ariana, right? Or that's not gonna work for Kayla. And just understanding like each one is different. You walking around cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs because you like, dang, I don't remember. Did she like it this way or did she like it
Right.
that way? But that's you gotta remember and you gotta know your kids and understanding like even us as parents and you tell your kids this. Like, listen, there's no handbook for parenting. There's no guide, there's no manual. I'm not gonna have it right all the time, and I'm needing you forgive me for this moment because right now I don't know what I'm doing. And accept that as they get older, like Kayla's gotten now, and you when you can say to her, baby, I'm sorry for X, Y, and Z because I didn't know in the moment, right? I was trying to heal, or I was still trying to figure it out. So because I was still trying to figure it out, I couldn't give you what you needed, and
Right.
understanding, okay, at that moment, is she going to choose to forgive me? and give me the grace? Or do we have to have some more conversation so that I can rebuild the trust? Like, that's
Right.
what it's all about.
Yep. And
Yep, it's on the job training. That's so
and
good.
one thing that I have to step in and just say is that never, no matter if it's a spanking or not, never discipline out of anger.
Oh, this is good too, Tiff.
Don't discipline out of anger. Whether that's a talking to, whether it's a spanking,
Hold on, it was
no
Mama
matter
Why said.
how it is, don't do it out of anger because then they feel that.
Nuh-uh. Watch what Cam said. I'm sorry, y'all was just
Oh
catching
yeah,
some of
yeah.
the
Oh yeah.
comments.
Now go back to that.
I ain't see
When I
that one.
seen that, then I chuckled because you was
That's a
talking. You was talking. I chuckled like, yeah. My man said unfair working conditions is hilarious.
hold on. I want to highlight this right here. Frida, you don't understand, right? Down in being
No,
in
I don't.
Georgia,
Yeah, I was
because
gonna go
that's the
back to
only
that
place
too.
we ever really had to. No, I take that back. Rita had us too. But having to go out there and you had to get your own switch, and don't think that you're going to get
You better
this
not get
little.
that little joint.
You, you got to go back out, go
I,
back outside
I'll
and
go
go
hit
get
you with this
another one.
log.
And then you're going to get it twice because you got this little teeny little thing. Listen,
I'll go get this
listen.
log. You don't want to get hit with the log.
Yeah, this
But
right here. When we
but
know
nah, this
better, we
is
do
and
better.
and and again, this is not no knock to our parents before us because again, there could be books, there could be parenting books, but is that going to work for your child? Is that going to work for your family?
Hmm.
No, no, it won't because it's different demographics. You know, you got to raise and discipline a little bit differently depending on where you are.
Hmm.
You know, it's 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 a great thing though. This is the great thing about life. This is the great thing about life that we're constantly learning every day.
We
And
learning to pivot.
and life is not great when you feel as though you can't learn no more.
Hmm.
When you get to that point, it's like I don't want to learn anything else. I don't want to grow anymore. Go ahead and dig yourself a grave because that's what you're initially doing. Um, but this is that pivot. We pivot a few times in this conversation,
But it all had to do with
but
pivoting.
it all had to do.
That's how
That's
this unscripted beautiful
listen.
life works, y'all.
I know the roller coaster as the outer limits at King's Dominion. You walk into a building, and you nobody knows what this roller coaster looks like. Not, I've never seen it. I don't.
You know, I think they changed Space Mountain in Florida to some other roller coaster now. It's not what it used to be. Remember how they had Space Mountain? It's a new ride. Y'all, I'm sorry. I saw a commercial that made
I'm
me think
listen.
about how
I'm about
they
to
changed
make me
things.
look it up because again, that's what this is. This unscripted is we going into a building and we riding roller coasters with our eyes closed and the lights out. For real.
Yeah.
We that's what we're doing. And the great thing about it is everybody makes it off the ride safely, and we've learned something.
Either learn what not to do
Yeah,
or
or
learn what
what to
to do
do,
and
you
how to
know,
do it better. Yeah.
and that's it, and that's walking in your faith, walking in grace, getting to know self better, getting to know God better. Because when you open up that door to God, He opens up all your windows, He opens up all your doors.
Yep.
He opens them up for you. And now everybody got that one window in their house that gets stuck. But God know how to open that window without no problems. It's
Absolutely.
gonna slide up and it's gonna slide back down. I actually one of my homeboys' houses, he had a window that never stayed up. When that window went up, they're gonna come down, chop this thing off, chop this thing off. Different
On
story.
that note, this is where we get ready to exit off the ride, y'all. But listen,
Those that's with us know what it was.
we have 1 week left before Get Back to Beautiful Star. So it's still time for you to register. If you are ready to embody and embrace beautiful, if you need to rediscover your beautiful, or you're saying, Katrina, what is all this beautiful talk? I have no idea what makes me beautiful. That means you need to find your beautiful. Come join us at getbacktobeautiful.com. We start July 17th. 8 weeks of embracing who we are, embracing beautiful, defining beautiful, redefining it, talking about forgiveness, self-doubt. What else we talking about? Living authentically, like all the things that are needed for you to be able to claim, hello, my name is beautiful. So Inbox me if you have questions, or go register and join us at getbacktobeautiful.com. We love you all until next week. But seriously, if y'all got topics that you need us to cover, send them our way. Inbox us, text us, do what you do to get in contact with us. But we love y'all. And next week, have a good evening.
Oh, you got
Bye.
the nasty